blackmail and tarnish his reputation. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is a honor to have you join us today as we gather to expose the hypocrisy and baselessness of the unfounded allegations being peddled against the impeccable personality of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, by those he has put out of business as he tightens the noose on all oil thieves and other unwholesome activities in the oil-rich Niger Delta region. Their crass attacks are, to say the least, repugnant and smack of a poorly orchestrated hatchet job. Ladies and gentlemen, recently the Nigerian media space has been awash with the most bizarre and unfounded campaign of calumny against the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, with allegations of collecting bribes to the tune of $470 million to facilitate crude oil theft in connivance with foreign nationals. While it's almost a waste of resources and man-hours to join issues with merchants of falsehood and deceit, we are constrained by our mandate of fostering peace, security, and development in the society to set the record straight. Credible intelligence at our disposal has it that a cartel of notorious crude oil thieves whose illicit business has been grounded by the tight security and tactical effectiveness of the Nigerian Navy in the onslaught against oil bunkering in the Niger Delta has enlisted the services of some unpatriotic element to launch a smear campaign against Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. The game plan involves sponsoring vicious media attacks against the Chief of Naval Staff with the hope of pressuring President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sack him, as he has been known to be a courageous and dedicated anti-corruption icon. The sheer callousness of this scheme is appalling, but their bag of lies has burst open and Nigerians have already known it is just a matter of corruption fighting back. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, before the inauguration of the present administration and the appointment of the current Chief of Naval Staff, Nigerians suffered huge losses amounting to billions of dollars from crude oil theft and other unwholesome activities along Nigeria's maritime borders. The task of Mr. President to the current Chief of Naval Staff was simple: to put a permanent end to bunkering, illegal refining of petroleum products, and other crimes. This, the naval boss has done exceedingly well. While Mr. President and many Nigerians are happy that there is at last a breath of fresh air and Nigeria can now meet its open quarter and earn enough revenue to drive Mr. President's economic recovery plan, some disgruntled elements are outraged that their breed and once flourishing illegal business has been shut down by the powerful Nigerian Navy under the daring leadership of Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. Their gang up and media wars have only gone to show that nobody attacks a player until he is in possession of the ball and threatening to score. The fact that nobody attacked the former naval chiefs when crude oil theft and bunkering was so rampant shows that they didn't dare to disrupt the status quo. We therefore reject this shenanigan in totality and insist that the clamor by the few criminals must not overshadow the gallant and courageous sacrifices of a patriot whose only crime is obeying his commander-in-chief and restoring dignity to the Nigerian people and their economy. Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala is innocent and deserves commendations and not condemnations. The launch of Operation Delta Sanity by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, upon assumption of duty to cleanse the mess in the Niger Delta region, has been hailed as the most proactive, professional, and dynamic military operation in the Niger Delta region. The dedication, discipline, and patriotism of officers and men of the Nigerian Navy in all command centers in the region has been outstanding and fruitful. The strategy to partner with host communities to foster intelligence gathering and sharing has played key role in sabotaging the efforts of oil thieves who previously used host community as their hideout for these nefarious activities. Realizing that the chances are up, these miscreants have teamed up to discredit and blackmail the Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. It is important that evil will triumph. It is impossible that evil will triumph against good. Mr. President cannot afford to lose a good man simply because he has done his job very well by trashing out criminal elements. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, there has been great improvement in the production output of Nigerian crude oil. The inability of Nigeria to meet up its OPEC quota has nothing to do with oil theft as insinuated. Crude oil production is largely dependent on creating the enabling environment. The abandonment of OML 11 and OML 30 has had a devastating effect on our crude output, and instead of looking for scapegoats, oil thieves and their sponsors should explain to Nigerians why there has not been crude oil production in Ogoniland for the past 25 years. The onus lies on international oil companies and local oil companies to create an enabling environment in conjunction with the federal government to meet Nigerians' OPEC production quota. To those who can no longer bear the heat of the Nigerian Navy's renewed vigor to fight crude oil theft and illegalities in the maritime domain and abusively trying to distract Nigerians, we offer our unsolicited but patriotic advice. Quit the blackmail and find something legal, or the wrath of the law will catch up with them. The vessels under contention and believed to have been used in the alleged corruption case against the Chief of Naval Staff are actually still impounded and under investigation even as we speak now. The case of MT Prezel, MT Kali, MT Tura, MT Vanalaris, cited by the antagonists, has only gone to expose the ignorance of those behind this malicious media attack. For the avoidance of doubt, the Nigerian Navy has clear procedural requirements in the arrest, detention, and release of any vessel or persons found culpable of any crime in the maritime environment. It is until these processes are duly concluded that such vessels are released to appropriate prosecuting agencies for further actions. This is what the Nigerian Navy is doing, but the owners of such vessels feel misinforming the public about true state of affairs and blackmailing the naval boss will save them prosecution. This is malicious and a calculated attempt to tarnish the good image and reputation of the Chief of Naval Staff as well as the entire Nigerian Navy. Another baseless allegation that the naval chief is involved in procurement fraud and contract splitting in violation of the Procurement Act is another recycled lie that has been used time without number by desperate blackmailers and their sponsors in a bid to hunt people down. The Nigerian Navy has a reputation of due diligence, and there is no way the Chief of Naval Staff will award or oversee oil bunkering contracts. Even an imbecile will know that the award of such contract is the sole prerogative of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. The Nigerian Navy has a vibrant procurement department, and all contracts awarded by the Navy follow due process in line with Procurement Act of 2007. Those desperate to hoodwink the naval chief should at least take some time and do their findings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is painful that while discharging its constitutional duty, that Nigerian Navy is coming under attacks and some media houses are complicit in these attacks. The Navy is empowered to monitor Nigeria's maritime assets, and it is doing so with distinction. Those who are threatened by the giant strike of the Nigerian Navy should not be allowed to use their platform to spread lies and hate. As a civil society organization, we applaud the Nigerian Navy under the leadership of Emmanuel Ogala for blocking the conduits from where our Commonwealth was siphoned by a few.